And now the trouble begins. You see, Jesus made this mud on the Sabbath, on the day of rest. And it is true, God said that this was to be a day of rest. But what had happened over the years is that religious leaders had said, well, what does it mean to rest? And they put together all these rules to make sure that you could really rest. And I'll say that their hearts were probably in the right spot. They were trying to make sure that people could rest. But what it had become was just this series of laws that became a huge weight that people could not bear. To the point that you had to count how many steps you took, because if you took one too many steps, you're not resting anymore. Well, Jesus healed this man on the Sabbath. And now the religious leaders bring this man in, and they start interrogating him. What's wrong with you? Why were you healed on the Sabbath? Now, we'll talk about the man's response in a little bit, but for right now, I want to just talk about those laws. This is one of the reasons why you really, really need to be in the Bible. Because as humans, we end up adding rules to God's Word all the time. And often enough, we don't even mean to. We don't even realize we're doing it. So being in God's Word helps you get back to that base. What does God actually say? Not what does that guy say he says, not what does that guy say he says, what does he actually say? Because I want to know that. Yeah, God said to rest. He didn't say to count your steps. He didn't say you couldn't spit and make mud. He didn't say you can't heal. He said rest. So let's get back to God's Word. And let's make sure we actually know what it's saying.